welcome back to United Way's annual meeting. I'm Stephanie Linkus. We've got a lot of exciting things to cover today and an award to give away, so let's dive right in. First, we'll be hearing from Janice Waddell and Haley Wood about Ocoee Connect and the needs in our community.
Hi, I'm Haley Wood.
And I'm Janice Waddell.
And so, as you all are probably familiar with, a big part of our mission at United Way is to identify community needs. And in a lot of ways, this really serves as a foundation for all of the work that we do. But what does this really look like? So we want to make sure that we're aligning our work with the true needs of our local community. And these are things that we want to continually be assessing as needs are often evolving and changing over time. So you're likely familiar with the fact that many of the people that we're serving are living at or below the poverty line. But we're also focused on serving families in our community who are considered part of the ALICE population, which stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. These are families and our neighbors that are working, but they're still struggling to make ends meet, and they're often just one paycheck away from being in a tough situation. For many of these families, the cost of living may outpace what they're earning, and these households may be struggling to manage the most basic needs. Now, for our local community, approximately 45% of families in Bradley County and 48% of families in Polk County are considered to be a part of this ALICE population. And keep in mind too that these percentages are actually from before the current COVID pandemic. And so there's likely many more families that are now part of this population due to economic changes and decreased wages that a lot of families may have experienced over this past year.
So Haley, you talked a lot about the ALICE report, and at United Way for the last several years, we have seen this population and we've heard their stories and we've worked directly with them. But the ALICE report really gave United Way a language to use, and it put words to what we have watched and experienced for years. It really helped us nail down the issues and challenges in our community, which directly help in the development of solutions. And so it really speaks to that idea of, if you know the problem, you're halfway to the solution. And that's how we feel about this report and the data that we've been able to gather. The federal poverty guidelines are just not adequate, and again, that's something that we've talked to a lot of our community partners about. And so ALICE really helps us redefine what those guidelines are and what that looks like, especially here locally. And like you already mentioned, ALICE report represents people who are truly working so hard to better themselves and the futures of their children. Out of this data and United Way's need to more deeply understand our community, the CNIC, the Community Needs Identification Committee, was born.
Yeah, so in 2018, we had a group of local volunteers who began to start meeting together and form what we call our Community Needs Identification Committee. And this was really created out of a desire to form a more formal needs identification and data analysis process for the United Way of the Ocoee Region. So this group began meeting regularly with the goal of reviewing data on an ongoing basis in order to better understand our community's greatest needs. And also, this was a way to provide information that can better inform decision-making locally. The community reviews data from a variety of different sources, and then they help to create a list of recommendations or priority areas that outline the areas of need that have really been identified. And so our current priority areas that have been identified by our Community Needs Identification Committee are affordable housing, childcare, affordable healthcare, and transportation. And when you think about it, these things are critical areas that really play a huge role in the foundation or the building blocks of what we need to have a healthy, thriving community. And in my mind, I kind of like to picture these four areas like four big walls of a foundation of a home. So when you have stability with these four supporting walls, you're able to build upon it. But if something happens with one of those four walls, then everything can start to crumble. So for example, if someone has a good job, but they start having issues with these foundational areas, whether that's in transportation, childcare, housing, or with their health, it can create economic instability, especially because a lot of these needs are connected and interwoven. I mentioned childcare as being one of the needs our committee has identified, and this has really been a huge area of increased need, especially resulting from the COVID pandemic. There's a lot of parents and families that have faced closures in daycare or in schools, but they still need to be able to go to work and do their jobs. And so this is kind of one area, kind of shows as a committee, we're constantly trying to look at where the gaps are in real time in our local community. And the goal for these families is what can we do to help them have a strong foundation in these core areas so that it does become easier for them to build upon those things.
So you mentioned childcare, Haley, and nothing really proves that more than our Ocoee Connect hotline. It's a resource and referral hotline here at United Way in which we can connect community members in need to services. In 2020, we had a huge uptick in calls during the pandemic, 3 to 4 times the call volume pre-March 2020. I mean, it was crazy. And a lot, the majority of our staff at one time or another throughout the year was helping with this increased volume. During this time, Ocoee Connect evolved to be a funnel for resources to get to those most deeply financially affected by the pandemic. Those who suddenly lost their jobs, lost income, lost childcare, those who had to quarantine due to potential exposure, and sometimes multiple times in and out of quarantine, which means loss of income. So Ocoee Connect was able to help over 1,000 households directly, which equates to close to 2,000 individuals here locally. And beyond that, those tangible resources that we were able to share, utilities, housing assistance, those types of things, hundreds of resource referrals were made to other organizations and nonprofit partners in our community, especially for food. And that was something, with our needs identification, we know that food is always higher on that list, but it was especially so this year. It really just spoke to those basic needs and how people were really struggling in the most tangible way. People who had never asked for assistance previously were asking and calling in and looking for resources and referrals. And this is something that we've heard over and over, this past year and the last couple of months, working with all of our different community partners, how they were really talking with folks and meeting with folks who had never needed assistance in the past, or it had been 10 years since they had reached out to them. We answered lots of questions about different jobs, providing job lists, and then specifically work from home, which again really speaks to the childcare need that we've experienced. And so beyond United Way being able to run to our community through the Ocoee Connect program, it also, going back to what you were talking about with the Alice report and the data, it gave us an incredible boots on the ground understanding of the Alice population here locally and truly how close they are to that cliff of falling back into the cycle of poverty.
Yeah, and one thing that is also really neat about Ocoee Connect is how it also ties back into our process of needs identification. We're able to look at the number of calls and the things that people are calling about, and we're able to see if there are trends or if there are changes happening in real time. And this gives us a lens to see and also to experience and walk through helping address needs for families in our community firsthand. Ocoee Connect has really personalized the needs in a lot of ways, and in many cases, it's given us a better understanding of the complexities of a lot of these issues, so that we're really able to work toward trying to find the best solutions to truly help people and address a lot of these needs in a holistic way.
So I could share so many stories and conversations that we've had over the last year with folks who were in utter desperation, in tears, saying, I've never needed this before. I was always the friend who helped everyone else. I was the one who had been given to United Way for years out of my paycheck. And it was so amazing to be able to say, we can help. We are here for you now. One specific story comes to mind. It was a single mother of 3 who was driving to a doctor's appointment for her baby because she had to pick her up from her babysitter because she was running a fever. This meant that the lady's paycheck was going to be even smaller due to even more missed work. I could hear the angst in that mama's voice as she told me that she was pretty sure her baby was running a fever because she had been keeping the heat so low to save money. She was absolutely between a rock and a hard place. She was desperate for help, but absolutely determined to take care of her children. Once Ocoee Connect was able to help with this family's utilities, the mom texted and she said, "Thank you so much. I just pulled over and broke down crying happy tears that someone is there to help. You don't know what this means to me. Thank you." And so that's what United Way does. We really do look at the full picture of our community and we say, where are the gaps in services? Where are their needs? And how can we fill that gap? How can we bring the right partners and the right resources and the right expertise to the table to truly address community needs in a way that changes lives for the better and for the long term? And I'm so excited to be a part of this change.
Wow, ladies, that is great. Thank you so much. We as an organization are committed to not only identifying the community's most pressing needs, but finding solutions to meet those needs. I can personally attest to the dedication of the whole United Way team when it comes to meeting and serving needs, whether it's answering Ocoee Connect and walking a person through to stability, or putting together boxes for the William Hall Rogers Christmas food box, which is what we're going to hear about next. Your United Way team is there every step of the way.
Hi, I'm Ashlyn Morlock.
And I'm Darlene Hicks.
And we're here to talk to you about the William Hall Rogers Christmas Fund.
The William Hall Rogers Christmas Basket Fund is a long-standing tradition in the Ocoee region.
For over 80 years, neighbors have come together to spread hope and make a difference. Founded in the wake of the Great Depression, the William Hall Rogers Christmas Basket Fund was a way to make sure those who had been hit the hardest were able to have food to feed their families.
In a year riddled with hardship, we knew we had to find a way to make sure the tradition continued, knowing how many local families have been affected by the pandemic.
The number of families we were serving through our helpline, Ocoee Connect, tripled at the height of the pandemic and have continued to stay well above average. While people are still reeling from job loss, lack of childcare, or hours cut.
We took extra precaution to make sure people could still safely receive this service, making applications available in many local nonprofits prior to registration for the first time in the program's history.
We also went digital, allowing people to access these forms so they could come with them completed and reduce the amount of time spent at registration.
We are happy to report that over 600 families in Bradley County received food boxes this year, with staples like green beans, macaroni and cheese, potatoes, and a turkey.
This doesn't happen without the support of so many community businesses and people just like you. Cook's Food Store, Pastor Phil Griffin with the church at Grace Point, Bradley Central High School's football team and coach, International Paper, Museum Center at 5 Points, Jack Dugan at Tri-State Warehouse, the Cleveland Daily Banner, and longtime volunteer and program coordinator Horace Coffey, and of course, you.
It was a record-breaking year for donation raised, which speaks to the spirit of the community to always rise to the occasion and rally to lend a hand to a neighbor in need.
Even though we know a food box won't ultimately change someone's situation, it offers hope and kindness, which the world so desperately needs right now.
We are so thankful to offer this program, especially in a year of such need, and we look forward to continuing to walk alongside and serve people here in the Ocoee region.
Thank you, ladies. We're so proud to offer programs like William Hall Rogers that can offer hope and kindness in a year that hurts so many right here in our community. It's such a beautiful example of people coming together for no other reason than to help neighbors in time of need. Some people in our community make a whole career of dedicating their lives to the service of others, and we want to honor one such person today.
I'm so excited to be out here at the Salvation Army this morning to surprise Ruthie Forgy, the Corps officer here, as this year's winner of the Jim Tucker Award for the United Way. And so, Shauna, do you want to say a little bit about what this award is? Yeah, this award honors someone who is an excellent nonprofit leader in our community and someone who's been such a wonderful partner for us at United Way and really seeing things happen in our community and caring wholeheartedly. And this is something we see in Ruthie so clearly. She's such an inspiration. So we're thrilled to get to present this award to her. It's going to be a really exciting moment because she's poured her heart and soul through the community throughout the years, and especially this past year with everything that we've had happen. So we're really excited to present this to her this afternoon, and you guys get to be a part of that.
Let me interrupt for just a second. We need to make an announcement. So, because you guys may or may not be aware of how amazing Miss Ruthie Forgy over there is. And because of her amazing dedication to the community and those that she serves, she is this year's recipient of the United Way Jim Tucker Award. As you know, Ruthie has, so I'm going to leave this in your arms. You have to be like a superstar. You have to practice. So I have been honored and privileged to work with Ruthie throughout the years, but very much so in this last year, and just really being able to see up close and personal her heart for this community, her heart for serving, her heart for those in need. I have seen you pour out just tireless compassion for those. And so, and not only because you have to, but because you want to and you desire to see the best of them. And so I can think of no one more deserving of this award this year than Miss Ruthie Forgy.
Wow. Yeah.
Amen.
Wow. I've had the vaccine.
It's fine. I'm in my 3 Okay. We're safe.
Y'all, I mean, okay, I was just talking about y'all. I can't do this if I don't have y'all. So thank you so much. And I share this with my team. I have the best team. I'm sorry, but I have the best team.
I'll fight for that, but you got
So thank you to my team, and I'm glad my son's here, and just thank you. And thank you. I get to do what I do every day, and I'm so blessed to get to do it. And thank you.
We are so fortunate to live in a community with so many excellent servant leaders, especially in our nonprofit sector. Thank you, Ruthie, for all your work in the community, and congratulations. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow as we dive into some great programs right here on Facebook.